What profession is significantly less enjoyable than many people anticipate? Housewife. Rah. But instead it's demeaning menial labor. Plus it's intellectually stagnating to be surrounded by young kids all day without adult interaction. And there's a complete lack of financial autonomy. I tried it for 8 months and couldn't wait to get back to work. A nanny cost us almost 6 figures, and if I wasn't in tech we wouldn't have been able to swing it. But it was worth it. I love my kids. But childcare as your only purpose is absolute hell. Literally every housewife I know is depressed or medicated. Everyone. Graphic design. Been doing it for over 20 years now. It's not as fun as you'd think it would be, especially now. Over time the work gets mundane, repetitive, and a lot of the people you do the work for can be unbearable or very hard to please. Nobody wants to pay you what you're actually worth most of the time, and friends, family think you'll do work for them for free. Also, I'm pretty sure AI will overtake the industry sooner than later, so anyone will be able to do it. Speaking of experience, video game tester. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again until you find a bug. And you report it. Reporting a bug is a tedious task. Record it. Write down every single steps on how to recreate the bug. Do it 10 more times. Log it in. Good. Now back to the beginning. Reset everything. Start over and over and over and over. ... It never ends. XD. The only time it gets real fun is when you do a server test. If the servers don't crash. Funeral director. And after several months of actually having to do a lot of physical labor, realize that it's actually a pretty gross and terrible job that involves an incredible amount of physical effort and bullshit. I've seen a lot of people come and go because they had this wild idea of funeral service, and is nowhere near what it is actually like to work in the industry. Being a chef. It's no secret it's a tough industry, but some have a naively optimistic expectation. A restaurant with all the right people working together in perfect harmony is still going to be very stressful. You can adapt and develop a thick skin, but I've seen many continue down the path when it's just not their best fit. Having the ambition of making food for a living doesn't always mean becoming a restaurant chef. Being a doctor. Seriously, people think it's more like or Grey's Anatomy. But in reality, it's more like Scrubs. You deal with a lot of crazy people for a lot of really minor things, and then you spend the time you're not on the floor dealing with a shit ton of paperwork and incredibly testy superiors. And that's also assuming that your interns and techs don't screw up or do something stupid. I'm a field service engineer who travels the world for my employer. I do 70,000-80,000 airline miles a year. Get to do crazy stuff like cross the Atlantic Ocean on a Navy auxiliary tanker. Or go on a gunnery exercise in the North Sea. Or dive on a submarine. But I'm also 45. Never married. No kids. And it's tough making time for friends when you never know when you're going to be home. Working in a casino is not fun. Imagine seeing people actively participating in a life-destroying addiction all day, and having to tell them it's better to stop or to just take the points they've won. I'm told that we have to protect the addicted people. At the same time I get rewarded for addicts coming in and tossing money in the machines. I hate this job, sorry. I'm ranting. When I was a drunken college kid I thought it would be awesome to work in a liquor store. I was psyched when I landed a summer job at one. In reality, it was boring as hell. This was before smartphones. Every day was intermittent bursts of customers followed by long stretches of nothing. Just pure boredom for a 4 to 6 hour shift. Commercial interior design. You are basically controlling the client's stupid ideas. You constantly have to fight them to get it to look right. They try and cut the budget in stupid ways that compromise the project. Then they have a big opening celebration to celebrate how well they did with the refurbishment. Game developer, her. But the industry is full of ego. Incompetent managers, more so upper management. Failing upwards, low pay, short-term thinking, long hours depending on the company, high expectations and more. Teaching, our tables, Special ed kids wandering the room grunting and banging their head with their fist or behind a curtain, and don't forget to meet the individual emotional and academic needs of all 25 of them. Anything on Wall Street or the investment world, it's all so glorified in movies like Twirls, and you see people on the internet claiming to be making 7 figures sitting on a beach, when in reality, it's just a lot of high-stress work. Doctors, simply not worth it. Why shortage? Time debt to become one. Stress, exceedingly way more hours than most realize. And it's surprisingly managed by political-type leaders with a very bureaucratic structure. Oh my gosh, Build-A-Bear. Weirdest and most frustrating thing. Granted, I didn't make it a super long time in the job, and seeing kids so happy is great, but they are really strict and the bad times get pretty bad. Working as a professional athlete may seem glamorous, but the demands of intense training, constant travel, and the risk of career-ending injuries can take a toll on both physical and mental health. Owning and running a gym, if it's done correctly, is a tremendous amount of time and money. Correctly as in not a filthy shithole with broken equipment that just takes your money. All of them. Take something you love and turn it into you have to do this, or you'll die of starvation under a bridge, and it tends to extract any pleasure out of it. I absolutely love my job, but being a realtor is a lot more work and nowhere near as glamorous as HGTV and the media in general would have you believe. A lot of younger people want to be influencers, not knowing that industry is more rotten than Hollywood's approach to child actors in the olden days. Probably, honestly, porn star. It would get tiring. It would stop being enjoyable over time, and you'd never experience anything new. Working as a professional taste tester seems like a dream job until you spend hours sampling different brands of canned tuna. I always wanted to be a veterinarian until I was told all the sad parts of the job. Wouldn't be able to handle that. Anything animal care. Get ready to underpaid, underappreciated, and have your heart broken over and over again. Not a Rickroll, SFW. Librarian. It doesn't involve sitting around reading. There are a lot of homeless people and tech issues. Being a full-time mom, children are amazing, but you start to lose yourself after a while. Acting probably. Never done it though, so I wouldn't know. Law. Nearly all of it is exhausting, unrewarding work. Game development. 100-hour week crunches, here we come.